Morning. I think I've got all of your Essay 1 assignments graded and made comments in the box and also marks on the papers. So please take time to look those over. Hopefully some of those comments will help you do better on this next essay in places. Overall, the grades were very good. So my hat's off to you for hanging in there in a most unusual semester. I'm going to talk briefly about Essay 2 this morning, which is a very different writing. It is a secondary source academic essay. So that means you will be using research. And the research you incorporate in your paper is to come from AC's database sources. The fact that it is in a college university database means that library research specialists, I can't believe there are people who want to major in such, but there are, and they're very good and they're very detailed people. And they look for credibility as to scholarship. So if you find an article in a library database, it has been deemed scholarly. So you're safe, you're good to go. You will need to study carefully the how to use database research page posted just under your Essay 2 assignment page. I think without that you will be totally lost. So just a word of caution, read over Essay 2. Be sure to read over that how to use the database research sources. The purpose of this second essay, basically your readings of the semester, your dystopian stories, your one poem, have either kind of addressed two aspects of dystopian concerns. The technology can ultimately become dangerous, or, and sometimes they overlap, that individual freedom must be treasured. So you are to choose one of those as kind of your major thesis idea, and basically then you can leap off anywhere. This is totally, the first essay was very structured. It was a prescribed assignment. This one allows you to go where you want to go and use your own creativity, so long as you back up what you are saying with credible research. So you are proving this time that either technology can become dangerous or that individual freedom, we take it too lightly. It must be carefully guarded. Again, you are writing for college level audience, so use appropriate vocabulary. Keep in mind the freelancer. I think I mentioned this last time. It is AC's literary journal, and student work is recommended sometimes that you submit it there for publication. It's very nice to have on your resume that you've been published in a college journal. So kind of keep that in the back of your head. I also think that this helps. If you keep that audience in mind, it will help you. A couple of you kind of didn't keep this in mind last time, and that is that any reader, whether they have read the literature you've read, whatever, that they should be able to pick up your essay and follow it throughout. So in the last essay, you needed to at least give a little background as to the story, so someone could leap off and follow what happened. In this case, again, the assignment is going to be so wide open, you need to choose selectively what you need to give to set up your thesis in your introductory paragraph. You're going to have a stronger paper if you narrow your topic. How you choose to narrow and then go on and develop your paper will be, again, your call. For example, as to the very big topic of technology being dangerous, maybe you want to limit it to, I don't know, the dangers of cell phones, or the dangers of, this is a current one, social media censorship. Kind of whatever you want to do, but I would narrow it considerably because it's a relatively short paper, and there's no way in a 3-page essay that you could tackle every aspect of technology. Maybe you want to look at the dangers of artificial intelligence, but do narrow that topic. Individual freedom, need to treasure. I don't know, that could go so many places. Maybe you want to look at what's happened in North Korea where there is no individual freedom. So again, just make sure you bring these big topics to something that can be handled in a 3-page paper. Be careful when there's stipulations that says this essay must. Well, must is a word of no exception. So kind of if these basics aren't covered, you know, your paper is going pretty downhill before you even begin. Of course, you need an opening paragraph that leads into a solid, narrowed thesis sentence, just kind of discussed. Mastery of the English language, that reflects your ethos, your credibility. You will need to quote from at least a minimum of 2 academic sources. And of course, those sources would need to be appropriately works cited. Do not forget that in your research materials, you have a specific page, I think numbers 5 and 6, that both address works cited information. A minimum of 700 words in length. Well, if that's a minimum and that's a must, and I get 300 words, I've got half a paper, and that's starting off at a 50. So please keep that in mind. That's just a minimum need of development for such a topic. Don't plagiarize. Since this is a secondary source paper, you want to give credit where credit is due. If you quote something from a source, be sure you are citing it per MLA. Several of you kind of missed this one. I think there were 2 or 3 of you still struggling, or I don't know. Review the page right up front in your introductory materials. This was covered. MLA requires 3rd-person writing. So if I noted in your comments on Essay 1, 3rd person, you've got some review to do. If you need help, clarification, call or text. This is a must. This time you have nearly 2 weeks for this assignment. So there's no problem with getting a draft of your paper submitted this week to Writer's Corner. Tutoring, that is the one I'm specifying. In light of COVID, they're moving pretty quickly. They're on top of the assignment. Send the assignment and a draft of your paper to them no later than this Thursday, Friday at the very latest, so you have ample time to get feedback from them, and then revise and get the paper in by a week from Friday. This is a little different. Not a Sunday due date, a Friday due date on submitting the final paper, because then we turn around and we'll hit the final exam and the semester is already over. Let's see. There will be, relative to tutoring, on your sidebar menu, course assessment assignment. That is required. It is a must of this assignment, and it does relate to your tutoring experience. A little different by this Thursday, December 4th. I want a tentative, that is, you may have 3 and then you may end up with 4, or you may have 3 that you think you were going to use and end up using 2 of them. But I want at least a tentative list of articles that you will be using in your paper, and what I want are those works cited entries, and I want to be able to double check those. Again, that's covered in your research materials. Don't hesitate to call for help, or the librarians themselves. Just go to library chat room and you can send them an article, and they will certainly help you draft your works cited entries. That is due this Thursday evening by midnight. I want to check your works cited entries, make sure you have something going. Let's see. Okay, one more time then. The essay will be due the 11th. That is a week from this Friday. No late papers will be accepted. You've got almost a full 2 weeks to get this done. If you don't procrastinate, I think you will be in pretty good shape. at the bottom of your essay assignment page. I've given you just a sample intro idea. Look it over, it may be helpful. One more clarification. You are to use Writer's Corner Tutors for this assignment. If you go to your sidebar tutoring, you will find option number 3, Writer's Corner, and I've given you an email address, a phone number. They are waiting to help you, and it doesn't matter if you get it back and send it again and want more input. The more times you have somebody kind of read and reflect and give input, and you revise and revise and revise, the better the paper will get. Okay, so that's it for this week. Sorry I had a doctor's appointment that conflicts with our time, but this may be more effective. I think I went through everything pretty carefully. I just do want to remind you, don't hesitate to call or text if you have questions. I do not mind at all. Stay safe. Get going.